This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The time is 8:45 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Anjana Dodamgoda and read by Tilani Pires. The headlines. The President envisions massive development project in the Eastern Province. The Agriculture Minister emphasizes ample domestic rice reserves, eliminating the need for imports. UK to provide grants for health support and fellowships. Special cabinet paper for recruitment of graduates to teachers' vacancies. Dutch State Secretary to visit Sri Lanka for ownership transfer of colonial-era treasures. The newly constructed Polpiti Hambantota transmission line connected to the national grid. And on international news, Ukraine claims Crimea landing for special operation on Independence Day. Sports news, the Sri Lanka Cricket Under-19 squad announced for warm-up game against the West Indies. President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressing a special committee meeting drew parallels to the successful implementation of the Mahaweli Development Project during the 1980s, affirming a similar commitment to expediting the Eastern Development Project. Presiding over a special meeting held at the Trincomalee Air Force Base today, President Wickremesinghe emphasized the imperative of fostering a conducive environment that reinvigorates the nation's economy, stressing on the need to engage India's assistance for this endeavour. Highlighting the strategic importance of the endeavour, President Wickremesinghe underscored the comprehensive vision for Trincomalee's transformation into a multifaceted hub and encompassing energy, transportation, maritime commerce, naval operations, aviation, industry and tourism. He underscored the collaborative role of India in realizing this strategic program. The Minister of Agriculture, Mahinda Amaraveera, affirmed that the need for the rice imports from foreign sources is unnecessary given the ample existing rice stocks that can sustain the upcoming Maha season. The Minister highlighted the success of the previous season, attributing it to the prompt supply of all essential fertilizer types to farmers, along with financial concessions and robust yields in regions unaffected by drought, further contributing to the season's prosperity. The Minister of Education, Susil Premajan, states that a special cabinet paper will be submitted in order to fill the existing graduate teaching vacancies. The Minister said in Parliament today the relevant cabinet paper will be prepared so as to authorize the provincial councils to fill the vacancies created due to the retirement of teachers and the teachers who have left the service. He further expressed that the provincial councils have already been authorized to recruit 5,400 graduate teachers for the subjects of mathematics, science and technology streams. In addition, the Minister who pointed out that there are around 32,000 teacher vacancies currently and also mentioned that various obstacles have arisen to fill those vacancies. Meanwhile, the State Minister for Education, Aravind Kumar, announced plans for the recruitment of 8,000 teachers for government schools in the near future. He indicated that these recruitments will include 5,500 graduate teachers and 2,500 teachers specializing in second language instruction. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. A Dutch cultural delegation is scheduled to visit Sri Lanka from the 27th of August to the 31st of August to sign a legal document transferring the ownership of the cultural artifacts that will be returned to the island nation later this year. The delegation will be led by Gunay Uslu, the State Secretary for Cultural and Media in the Netherlands. The official delegation will consist of Barbara Wolfensenberger, Director General Culture and Media in the Netherlands, then Lilian Gonzalez Ho Kang Yu, Chairperson of Dutch Colonial Collections Committee, and Dr. Alicia Skriker, a member of the committee. The objects planned to be returned include the famous Lucas cannon, 2 ceremonial swords, a Sinhalese knife, and a silver kastan and 2 guns. The police have informed the two people have died in the shooting incident that took place at the Mannar Adamban police area. The police have informed that 2 people have died in the shooting incident that took place at the Mannar Adamban police area. Gunshot has struck those who returned home after watering a small rice paddy field. This incident took place in the Mullikandal area of Adamban this morning. According to among those who lost their lives, 1 person has been identified as a resident of Nochakulam, Mannar. The police said that the other person belongs to Echelavakkei, Mannar. Adamban police are conducting investigations in connection with the incident. That ends the local news for now.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The British Deputy High Commissioner Lisa Vanstall called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena together with a delegation from Fleming Fund of UK Department of Health and Social Care to discuss the commencement of the second phase of the UK aid programme to Sri Lanka at Temple Trees in Colombo yesterday. She said the healthcare grants programme, which was halted for the last couple of years due to the COVID pandemic, will be resumed in January 2024. Under this grant, assistance will be provided to support it to generate, share and use antimicrobial resistance data to reduce drug resistance. It will support public health surveillance to help improve patient health, inform national health policies and warn emerging threats. The grant program will be implemented with the assistance of the Ministry of Health, World Health Organization and other agencies. Under this program, training fellowships will be provided to the health sector staff. The Prime Minister thanked the United Kingdom for selecting Sri Lanka as a recipient of the health care program, which will be immensely useful to advance the health system in the country. He pointed out that Sri Lanka Health Service is based on the British system and there will not be any difficulty in implementing such health care programs. The British Council's country director, Orlando Edwards, presented a set of publications on English language training methods of the Council to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Gunawardena urged the Deputy High Commission and the British Council to introduce English language education to youths in rural areas. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
And on Watch Light tonight, the heat index, the temperature felt on human body, is expected to increase up to caution level at some places in the north central and eastern provinces and in Vavuniya, Mullaitivu, Mononagala districts tomorrow. The meteorology department said in a heat index advisory. It warns that fatigue is possible with prolonged exposure and activity, while continuing activity could result in heat cramps. The heat index forecast is calculated by using relative humidity and maximum temperature, and this is the condition that is felt on the body. This is not the forecast of maximum temperature. That came to you in Watchlight.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
Moving on with world news and the headlines first. Ukraine claims Crimea landing for special operation on Independence Day. UK carries out first ever womb transplant as sister donates uterus. North Korea says spy satellite launch ends in failure again. Ukraine has claimed that its troops landed in occupied Crimea as it marked its second Independence Day fighting Russian invaders. The mission's objectives were achieved with no casualties among its troops, Defense Ministry spokesman Andriy Yusov wrote on Telegram. Russia illegally annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014, 8 years before it launched a full-scale invasion. Mr. Yusov said an encounter ensued in Olemvinka, west of the peninsula. He claimed Russia suffered personal losses. However, there was no immediate comment from Moscow. The United Kingdom has made medical history with doctors carrying out the country's first womb transplant. Surgeons at the Churchill Hospital in Oxford successfully transplanted a sister's womb to her 34-year-old sibling in an operation that lasted 9 hours and 20 minutes on Sunday, according to local media reports. The operation to remove the donor's womb lasted more than 8 hours. North Korea said its second attempt to put a spy satellite into orbit failed on Thursday, 3 months after the first one crashed into the ocean shortly after launch. Leader Kim Jong-un has made the development of a military eye in the sky a top priority, with his nuclear-armed country claiming it is a necessary counterbalance to growing regional activity by the US forces. Back to the world news headlines. Ukraine claims Crimea landing for special operation on Independence Day. UK carries out first ever womb transplant as sister donates uterus. North Korea says spy satellites launch ends in failure again. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities for well-experienced housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait for ages 40 to 58 years. Salary 125,000 rupees. Contact 037 7500 500.
And on development news, the newly constructed Polpiti Hambantota 220 kilowatts transmission line has been connected to the national grid upon completion of its preliminary work. The Ceylon Electricity Board said meanwhile the new grid substation in Hambantota was also energized today. The project was funded by the Asian Development Bank to develop the Polpiti Hambantota 220 kilowatt transmission line and Hambantota new grid substation with an investment of $55 million. According to the state-owned utility, this 150-kilometer transmission line runs through 11 divisional secretariats from Ambangamur to Hambantota, and the line capacity is 580 megawatts. The Hambantota new grid substation has been completed with 2 power transformers with a total capacity of 500 megawatts. That came to you in development news.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Housemaids and home cooks in Saudi Arabia, ages 40 to 58 years. Arabic speaking and well-experienced home cooks. Salary 125,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can travel overseas free of charge now. Branches Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Matara. Contact number 0377 500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Employment Agency.
Sports news. Sri Lanka Cricket has announced a 15-member Sri Lanka Cricket Under-19 squad to play in the warm-up game against the visiting West Indies Under-19 team. Hiranja Sundarov of St. Joseph's College will lead the Sri Lankan team in this warm-up fixture. The one-day warm-up game will be played at the CCC grounds Colombo on the 25th of August. Following this, the Sri Lanka Under-19 and West Indies Under-19 will engage in 3 one-day games and 2 four-day games. The white ball series will be played from the 27th of August to the 1st of September at the Dambulla International Cricket Stadium. It will be followed by the red ball series, which has been scheduled to be played from the 5th of September to the 15th of September at the same venue. That ends sports news.
Go ekak tiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Redington Inc.'s partnership with Adobe as distribution and market development partner for Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan and Maldives markets, Redington Limited, a leading technology solutions provider, today announced that it has been appointed as Adobe's exclusive distribution and market development partner across key markets in South Asia, including Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan. Accordingly, this partnership aims to ignite creativity and foster digital empowerment across the region by improving access to Adobe's range of creative and digital workflow software tools. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak tiyana youth ekata life eke change ekata niyameta set wenna as wahagena dakapu hina habe karanna youth ekata niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Sri Lanka's tea export revenue fell $2.3 million to $115.2 million in July 2023 from $117.56 million last year amid lower prices with broadly stable volumes, industry data shows. Sri Lanka exported 22.7 million kilograms of tea in July, down marginally from 44.7 million kilograms last year. The free on-board price of tea in July was 5.06 per kilogram, down from 5.16 last July. Up to July, export revenue was $748 million, up by 6.5% from last year's $702 million. That came to you in economic news.
Weather report.
Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the central and Nuva provinces and in Ampara, Polonnaruwa and Mullaitivu districts during the night. A few showers will occur in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. That was the weather report. And now to end this news broadcast, the main points once again. The President envisions massive development project in the eastern province. The Agriculture Minister emphasises ample domestic rice reserves, eliminating the need for imports. UK to provide grants for health support and fellowships. Special cabinet paper for recruitment features vacancies. Dutch State Secretary to visit Sri Lanka for ownership transfer of colonial-era treasures. The newly constructed Pulpiti-Hambantota transmission line connected to the national grid. And on international news, Ukraine claims Crimea landing for special operations on Independence Day. And on sports news, Sri Lanka Cricket Under-19 squad announced for warm-up game against West Indies. That ends this news broadcast.